All right. So to solve an oblique triangle, find the lengths of the sides just like we did last time. Okay. So let's try one. We're going to look at, it's going to look like geometry for a little bit. You remember angle, side angle, and side angle, side, and side, side, side. You probably don't remember this one, no, do you? You don't remember those. Okay, those weren't congruent triangle congruent things. But let me just explain what that means. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have a triangle, and we're going to be given three parts, and we're going to be finding the other three. So when they say case one says one side and two angles are known, I could give you a side. Do we have any of those? I could give you an angle here and a side and a side. This is the side angle. Okay? I gave you the angle, the pink angle, and not the blue angle. Okay? Now, those are all the different possibilities. You don't really have to figure out, I'll come back to it maybe, but those are all the different cases. Let's move on, and here's the law of sines. Okay, the law of sines is sine of the angle A over the side A, remember that's across from one, equals the sine of B over the across from that little b, side B, sorry, and sine of C is across from C. Okay, so we got to take two, and we have a proportion, so we can take the first two, we can take the first and the third, we can take the last two. But we're going to solve those as a proportion. Okay? So this is what you need to remember. And it's not that hard. That's the law of sines. All right. Here's what we're going to use the law of sines. We're just going to pull up a generic triangle ABC. Okay? We're going to fill in what we know. 40 degrees, 60 degrees. I don't really take a lot of time to do this, like make it look like it's supposed to look. It's just a visual for me. Okay, so A is 4. I'm going to put 4 right there. Okay, I'm going to put B right here, little b, and I'm going to put little c right here. Okay, here's the thing. In order to use the law of sines, what we have to know is this situation. We have to have at least one side and one angle matching, okay? We have to know an angle and know its side across. Otherwise, sine, and you'll see why in a minute. Otherwise, the law of sines is not going to be available. Okay, so we're going to sine of 40 will be over what? 4. Okay? Equal to sine of 60 over B. This is angle B. And then sine of C is unknown over little c. Okay? If your big C looks like little c, just put angle C when you're done, and that'll be good. Okay, now, this has to be split into 2 proportions because we don't solve it with 3 ratios. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is do this one because there's only one unknown. So sine of 40 over 4 equals sine of 60 over B. I know B is a terrible variable because it looks like a 6, but you can't change it to capital B because capital B has already been designated as the angle B. So just be careful. Just know that it's not a 6. Okay, so here we go. We're going to solve this because we can. And then what's my other proportion that we're going to solve when we've got that one?
Oh, the sine of B over 4 equals sine of 6.
Okay. Do we know this is going to be a problem? Do we know anything over here that we're like, oh, we know that? What is it, Sarah? C has to be 80 because 60, 40, and C have to add up to be 180. That's right. Okay, so C is one, sorry. So C has to be 80. So I'm going to go ahead and put C right here in there. Okay, these are degrees. Okay, so get your calculator out. Make sure your mode is in degrees now. Pretty much the whole chapter, it's going to be degrees. Degrees, I'm good to go here. All right, so I'm going to do what to solve here? Yep.
So it's 4 times sine 60 degrees equals sine 40 degrees times b. So it's 4 sine 60 degrees divided by sine.
Okay. You're welcome to do that as efficiently as you need to, but I'm going to need to see this. And then, yeah, you can pretty much, if you plan ahead, you can put that all in your calculator. If you are able, just do it. If you can't, then just take your time. So what do we got? 4 sine of 60. Make sure you close your parentheses. Divided by sine of 40. Okay? Calculator, all about that. So B should be 5.389. Did anybody not get that? All right. So what's C? What am I going to put in my calculator? Melanie.
4 sine 80 divided by sine.
4 sine 80 divided by sine of 40. Okay, if you need to do that step, the cross multiplication, do it. No shame in that. It's serious. So be thinking you look stupid if you can't skip there. Sine of 80, close your parentheses, divided by sine of 40. Okay? So what's that rounded, Melanie?
6.1.
Okay. So I like to put everything back. I got C as 6.128, just to make sure I'm good. I'm talking right at the same time. All right, what's B? 5.389. 5.389. Okay, we got everything? We're good. Move on to the next problem. Okay? 3 digits, you should be good. Because if you round too early, you're going to be slightly off, and then everyone's going to have a different answer. I don't want to correct a test that I have to say, well, she just rounded differently. We're not going to round till the end. That's what this is all about. You don't round that, and then everything's rounded differently. So down to the end. Okay, so that's the law of sines. How would we check it? Because there's a lot of figuring going on. The only way to check it is to put it back. Sine of 40 over 4. Put that in your calculator. Sine of 60 over 5.389. And sine of 80 over 6.128. Put those all in your calculator, and you should get the same thing-ish. I'm going to do a fraction. Sine of 40 over 4. Sine of 60. Oops, I didn't do my fraction. Over 5.389. Pretty close. Remember, we rounded, so it's going to have to be rounded to sine of 80 over, oops, parentheses, over 6.128. Okay? So they're all pretty close to the same thing. Okay, sometimes you can catch some errors, checking them out. But that's really the only way you can do it. You can't do a Pythagorean theorem because you don't have the right angle. You know, you gotta make sure your angles are right from the get-go too. Okay? Any comments, questions on that law of sines? Anybody? Anybody? Okay. Let's try another one. The law of sines only works if you are given a side and an angle across from it. A, B, C. B is 25, C is 85, A is 6. All right? So I'm calling this B, I'm calling this C. All right. Give me my two ratios that I'm going to work with. Sarah, give me one. Okay.
And then
25, 85 is 110. Okay. All right.
you have big C is 85.
Got it. Now, give me the proportions.
Okay.
Just give me one.
So sine 85 over little c equals a sine of 70 degrees over
Okay. What's another one, Aaliyah? Okay. Now, yes, you can use your C one, but if you use your C to find your B, you are rounding and you're taking a chance that it might be slightly different. Go ahead, find your values there. Put your number first. You don't have to use so many times. Very easy to make a mistake here. On your calculator, hit the wrong button. You got a different answer. All right. We got the two answers. Lady, what'd you get for C? The 3 digits.
6.3.
That's what I got. 6.361 rounded. Anybody not get that? Let me know. All right. And Karina, what'd you get for B? 6.98. Okay. Very good. We're done. That's the law of sines. Okay, we got A equals 7. Okay. So what this is, we have to have that in order to use the law of sines. We're going to get a law of cosines next class. But remember, the law of sines we use sine, and the law of cosines we use cosine. It's a little different. So, all right. Now, this is the SSA triangle, which is where all the tricky stuff comes in. Remember, SSA does not guarantee us that one triangle, because that's not one of those congruent triangle things. Okay? So look what happens. Sometimes we have a side, and the angle in between, and then, oh, that's not going to work. It's not going to happen. We're not going to get a triangle, and we'll have one of those. We can have a right triangle. We can have, but that'll still work out in the law of sines. Even if you're, one of these is 90, the law of sines still works for the 90 right triangles. Okay? You could get 2 triangles. Your A could go this way or your A could go this way. All right? And then you could also get 1 triangle. Okay. Now, we're going to have to check for the SSA. Let's look. Before we get into SSA, we had this given angle, we had the side, sorry, let's pull that piece, and we had 85. Okay. You see that that is going to be one triangle because it's angle, side, angle. This is a solid congruency thing. I can't get another triangle. That's why. Yes.
So I just assume that there's no case, no triangle.
Not in this. You'll see when there is. Okay, and over here, right, there would be no case. We didn't even consider it. Here's an angle, and here's another angle given, and the side that we were given is right here. So what would that case be? It's not angle, side, angle anymore. It's probably angle, angle, side. Okay. All right, let's get to the ambiguous and the SSA business. Now, I don't really think about, oh, what do I have given? This is what I was saying. It just comes up when it comes up. You'll see here in a minute. Okay? So when I didn't talk about it over here because we didn't need to. So let's start talking. Let's do a generic triangle, 3, 5, and 35. Okay. 3, 5, and that means this needs to be 35. That's B, that's A, that's C, that's little c. Okay, y'all line that up from the beginning. All right. We do have an angle and a side across from it, so we can use their law of sides. All right. Rachel, give me a proportion that I can use. Take signs of angles.
Sorry. Sine 35 over 5.
Okay, equals.
And then you can put that equal to sine big C. Or no, sine big A over 3.
Okay, very good. Give me the other one, Kara.
Sine of 35 over 5. Sine of big C.
Okay. All right. Now, we clearly can't start here because we have two unknowns. Before, when we had two unknowns, we were able to fill in the one and then we were good to go. We can't do that now. Okay, so let's find, let's do this slowly and see what is different. What's sine of A equal to? Algebraically. Let me just do the math here. Just multiplying. So what side of A equal to, Connie?
3 sine 35 divided by 3.
Okay. Now, right now, you should be, should be noticing, wait, we didn't have to do that. Okay, if I take 3, fraction 3 sine of 35 and put it over 5. Okay, that's not A, that's the sine of A, right? Okay, so what am I going to get for A? Inverse sine of that mess. Okay? Now, here's where we need some background information. All students take calculus. We take the inverse sine, and this was positive, I believe, right? Okay, this was a 0.3441. Okay, I'm just going to write that as a dot, dot, dot means I don't want to use the rounded version. Okay, if I have a sine of A equals positive, where am I for A? First quadrant or second quadrant? So that's your ambiguous. We have to check. Okay, A could be blank or blank. Second quadrant, first quadrant. Calculator will give you the first quadrant. Inverse sine for your answer, so I don't have to retype that. There it is. Okay, 20.130. All right, how do I get that's this angle. How do I get the second quadrant one? Pi minus that, we're going to do pi, because 100 degrees again, 180 minus 20.130. Okay? 180 minus my answer. Okay? 159.70. All right. Can't be 159. Well, let's see. So right now it looks like we have a 35-degree angle at B, 20-degree angle at A-ish, and that would make this one what? Cool. I'm not sure why I'm writing one there. 180 minus the 35 minus the 20.130. You all follow me? And that is 124.87. 124.87, 20.130. Okay. This isn't 20.130. Instead, it's 159.870. You see why it can't be that one? Why? Right, it's already too big. 35 and 159, 180 minus 35 degrees minus 159.870. Okay, we can't have a negative degree angle in a triangle. Can't trade if we go the other direction, but so this triangle's not happening. Okay? So this is a situation where we have to check. If you forget to check, the one time you forget to check, that's the one time you have two triangles. So now we can just finish normally. Once we've already found our C, right? So sine of 35 over 5 is now sine of, what did we say it was? 124 point, what is that? 87, thank you. Over C. Okay? If you're not very organized, this is not going to be good for you. So you got to stay organized. You can't just vomit all over the page and expect people to like me to follow your work. Okay? So go ahead and finish that. Try this one. Okay, little C. What do you have, Lydia?
No, I wasn't too there yet.
Okay. Where were you?
I was like, I was just trying to get them. But like, I can see it. Yeah, good Lord.
Let's think about this. You got a side of 3, you got a side of 5, and a side of 1,000.
How do you get signed of one? Would it not be 8?
What's the rule for the 3 sides as far as the triangle goes? Just any 2 have to be greater than the other. Greater than the third. Yes, any two, so the 1,000 plus 5 is, but 3 plus 5 is not going to be greater than 1,000. That's going to be the problem. Yes.
But I thought it was like 8, but that can't be right. 'Cause it's not.
Yeah. It can't be over 8. It has to be under 8. What did you get?
7.152.
That's what I got. So now, here's what you get to think about. Me correcting your problems, and they're wrong. So then I have to find your mistake. And then I'm annoyed because I can't find it. So don't make mistakes. Moral of the story. All right. So, you gotta be organized. If I can't follow your work, man, minus 4. Because I can't deal with it. Maria, excuse me. There was one problem that it just kind of went. Oh, I can't remember.
I was like,
It was
about my name and everything.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so if you look at it, you're like, what?
Pretty much. Yeah. If I can't follow it, I'm not doing it. So close. Identity's close to the. There was only one. Okay. All right, so the 1,000, Lauren said she forgot to put the sign thing in. Okay, you're cutting corners, and like we're cutting corners, like we already cut them, and it's not looking for you. Then write the step out. Okay, and you'll know by next class if you're going to be able to cut corners or not, because you're like, I'm getting it all wrong, so I got to slow down and write some things down. Okay. Did you find your error, Miss Lydia?
Yeah, I realized that what I had done was I just divided like sine 35 by 5 sine 124.87 instead of multiplying it out like I should have. Okay. So it should have been 5 sine 124.87 divided by sine 35.
Okay. And if you do the math, you won't make those kinds of mistakes. If you're trying to cut corners, sometimes we'll make mistakes. Okay. So this was just a regular, if you hadn't checked out, it'd be like, oh, that's good, well, good thing. So you got to check, though. Let's try this one. All right, I've got ABC here, ABC, 6, 15. That's going to break out into that is a telltale sign, law of signs right there when you have that match. And 10 goes there. So we're missing B and missing 2 angles. Okay? You're missing 2 angles. It's a little bit more problematic. Okay, so Elena, give me one of your proportions that you could solve.
Sine 15 over 6 equals sine 10.
Very good. And Lauren, give me the other one.
Sine 15 over 6 equals sine 30.
Sine of what?
Sine 50 over.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Okay, I like how you're starting with that same thing each time. That's the given matching sign there. Good job. Okay. All right, let's find the sign of A here. I'm just going to write it out because it really doesn't take any longer to write it out. I don't think. Then just throw it in. Okay. I'm trying not to do any math, any calculator until I'm ready to do it all. Put in your fraction. Just makes it look better, and it's easier to just do it right. Everybody knows how to do the fraction piece by now, right? All right, what do we get for A? Maria?
I got 25.55.
Okay, did anybody get anything else? All right, Sarah, what else did you get? Say it again. Yep. Okay, those are supplementary angles, right? That's that. This thing and this thing. Okay, all students, we're in the second quadrant. All right, let's see how this works out this time. First quadrant. Anybody get lost here yet? Okay, we're good? Yes.
This might be dumb and everything always, but like, how do you know that it's going to be, the second answer is going to be in the second quadrant?
Because all students take calculus.
Oh, okay.
And so that's what it, if this is positive, then that's where we're going to be. If it's negative, it's going to be different, but I don't think it's going to be negative because by the time we're all the way over to the third quadrant, we've used up more than 180 degrees.
Okay.
So, and you're only got 180 to use for the 3. Okay, so I'm going to try the 25. Let's actually try the bigger one first, and then we'll know if it works or not. We know the smaller one's going to work. It's the bigger one that is the question mark. 154.445. Find that missing A and see if it works. You'll know what I mean here in a minute. So probably try out your bigger one first, and that way you can discard it or keep it if you need it. Are we going to keep it or discard it, Laura? We are? I'm going to keep mine.
Well, but isn't it like the bigger angle has a larger, like the side, like the side opposite it would have a bigger number, and so since it's 10 degrees.
So what'd you get for this?
Like 10. 10.5.
Okay.
So then across from the 15 is the 6. So you know that like the one that has a wrong one. What?
The number 24 is the A. She wrote in the wrong place. The 154 is the A. So yeah, so it is.
Oh, sorry. I switched it
Saying
up.
that angle A had to be bigger than angle C because the slide's bigger.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
That better? Okay, sorry about that. That was really smart, Lauren, to remember that little key. I don't think that you're going to have to worry about that. It's the whole 180 thing that's either going to be a you know, what am I trying to say? What? Yeah, something like that. All right, so we have two triangles. 15, 25.554, and let me label these. Don't get sloppy, but here we go. Okay, what's my other angle for my second triangle? I'm going to draw them because I need the visual. That's crazy subtraction going here. Okay, how many degrees I got left? It's 139.446. All right. Okay, so once I have two triangles, everybody caught up? You've got to figure out what you're going to call them because we got an A here, we got an A here. Okay, this is triangle 1. So we're going to call it A1, B1, C1, little b1. These are subscripts. That's a 6. We need to subscript a 6. Okay? All right, so this is A1, right? No, that was 2. And this was A1. Okay? Everything, so I'm going to identify this and this. This is triangle 1, this is triangle 2. Okay? All right, you just made it, you know, bigger than twice as big because we got all the parts that we, if this angle changes, just like Laura mentioned, that's going to change this because it's going to be bigger. That's B2 that we're going to find. Okay, so over here, we're ready to find, let's do B1. All right, and that's little b1, 2. Okay? So, sine 15 over 6 equals sine of, what are we calling b1? I labeled it over there. 10.555. Imagine if I didn't have a triangle going, how, like, oh my god, I don't know what that is. Yeah. It's okay, as long as we use 3 digits, we're good. Okay, so find B1. As long as we're doing it all the same way, we'll all have the same answers. Because it gets kind of nuts trying to grab all the answers. All right, I'm ready for B1. What do you got, Lydia?
24.6.
Yep, I get 24.7. When you round correctly. No?
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay.
It's a 5.
All right. 2, 4, 6, 5. Okay. All right. So there's that. We got that. So that one's done. Now we got, oops, that's B1. Sorry. That one's done. All right. This is B2. Ooh, okay, we got A1, A2, B1. Let's see. I need a proportion to find little b2. Okay, somebody want to give it to me? b2 is right here. There, get down in for you. Sarah.
Sine of 15 degrees from the 6.
Yes, I will stand by because those were given to us. Sine 139.446 over B2. Okay. Imagine your dismay when you were like, now we just determined that we had our mode wrong.
Oh my god. No.
Yeah. That would be very, you'd be very sad.
I would get every single problem.
But you figured out before that because you get negatives and you're like, wait, why is this negative distributed? Yeah. Okay, what you get? B2. Okay, and everybody got that, right? Okay, so we all round at the same point. You should be good. Okay? You don't want 18 different answers.
So if there's like one triangle you want us to not round, if there's 2, then round to 3.
Well, it's just, I mean, if you got 3 digits, you'll be good. Yeah. Yes. Yes, who can not round? You just kept grabbing the answers. Just because it's kind of nuts doing that, but you could store your numbers as A and B and C if you want it, but it just, yeah, it would get kind of nutty. So just, I mean, really, you got to keep organized. This to me is helpful for organization because you understand how the sign, you know, the law of signs works. If you have them identified, you just grab the numbers off of there. If you're trying, you know, to do it without this, it gets a little nutty. But just make sure you got everything. You don't have to put, once you're done with the sides, you don't have to put them on there if it helps you. But please box your answer so I can say, oh yeah, got it. Move on, we're done. Okay? Any other questions? The answer is, oh yeah. We got a B2, we got a B, little b, we got a little b here, we got a angle here, we got an angle here. We probably should have wrote B1 over here somewhere, and B2, whatever those. We'll put them in the triangles. B2 is 139.446. Watch, this is degrees, you should put a degree mark. And then B1 was 10.555.
Will we be giving units with these folks?
No, no. No units. Oh, we start with yes.
Like degrees, if you like degrees.
Just degrees. Yeah, I would like degrees because if you don't mark them, it looks like radians, and that's just a bad. It's a lot of radians. Yeah. Okay, so we had the one case for the SSA. We have the two. What do you think's next? Okay, so again, we are going to pretend that we don't know what's coming here because we shouldn't. Here's 5, here's 8, and here's 50 degrees. All right. Okay. Marie, give me a proportion here that's going to give me.
5 equals
Okay. And the other one, Lindsay?
Sine of 50 over 5 equals sine of big C over.
Okay. All right, we can't solve this one yet. Let's solve that one, see what happens. Just gonna do the math here. Cross multiplying.
Yeah,
Okay. So what does that mean?
It's one of the open triangles.
It's not, B does not exist, which means there's no such triangle. You're done. Okay? Yeah, but what's not nice is when you make a mistake and then you say no triangle and then you got 6 pieces wrong. You did something wrong. So be careful. It's very tedious. Pretty much, but most people get it wrong. It's not usually. It's usually a welcome relief from chapter 7. Oh gosh, right here. All right.